Okay, 15.5, second to last section. And the homework's, I think, a tiny bit shorter tonight because this is a bigger section. So hyperbolas are the shape we're focusing on, and there are two parabolas. And you're going to see dashed lines to help you draw those to the right steepness. So with the equation here, that's what you're trying to write on 15.6. That's what you're given on 15.5. H and K are still your center. Okay, H, K. A and B are still your vertices, your major axes. Whichever one's bigger is A. Notice the negative here is different than ellipses. So ellipses have a plus. Hyperbolas have the minus right there. And the order does matter. So if you see X first, your graph's going to look like that, sideways. If you see Y first, this is X first. If you see the Y first, then you're going to see a graph up and down. And then one other thing, I did forget to put a squared here on that X, so make sure you write a squared there. And then you do want to get your foci here, which are going to be right inside this curve, so you can get C. Notice C is alone now instead of A. So it's a little different than ellipses, but you're never going to be quizzed on it in the same quiz, so you'll be able to look back and kind of remember. So, pretty straightforward as far as graphing goes. So on this one here, problem number 1, go ahead and turn there. If you're missing a fraction, you can always put this over 1. So go ahead and write your center point here. H has to come from X, K has to come from Y. So you should get 2, 3. So you're going to put that point on your graph. A and B are going to come from these denominators, but you square root them. So the bigger one, square root of 4 is 2, but it's under the Y. And then B, square root of 1 is 1. So we're going to count up and down 2. And then left and right 1. So you should have something like this, but we're not going to connect the dots in an ellipse. We're going to make a box out of them. A dashed line box like this. Okay? Now the major vertices are the A ones. So we went up and down. So we have 2, 5 and 2, 1. Our minor are the B ones. Okay? So those are going to be the 1, 3 and the 3, 3. Okay, so let me show you with the color here. Minor are these ones right here. Okay? So now we're going to do something called an asymptote. That means we're going to connect the corners of this box together and use a straight edge for this. Otherwise, you're going to have a sloppy one like me. Okay, so you're going to have two equations, and I'm going to use the y minus y1 equals mx minus x1. And this is going to be, instead of y1, I'm going to put, k here. And instead of x1, I'm going to use h there. And my m is whatever the rise over run is for each of the lines that I just created. So let me show you with different colors. This line right here, y minus and k was 3 equals, and then we've got m, our slope, we go up 2 over 1, x minus h, and h was 2. So y minus 3 equals 2x minus 4 when I distribute that. So I get y equals 2x minus 1 when I add that 3 over. So that's one of them. The other one is this guy right here. So y minus 3 equals, and I go negative 2 over 1. Those are just the same number. So I get y minus 3 equals negative 2x plus 4. And I add 3. So I get y equals negative 2x plus 7. So I do need to have those two equations written. So right now, I need to make sure that I have, let's see. There we go. Center, major and minor vertices, and your asymptotes. Last things you need are your foci. So c squared equals a squared plus b squared, so we get radical 5. And go in the same direction as your first thing, and that's y here. So I'm going to count, it's about 2 point something. So I'm going to count up and down about 2 point something. So right here, I'm going to put a little f there. About right there, put a little f. And then around that, I'm going to make my parabola. And my other one, which makes 2 of those, so hyperbolas. And then the foci, remember, is still the same as ellipses. So you go 2, comma 3 plus radical 5, because I'm changing my y's. Remember, this is h and k plus c, and then h and k minus c. Okay? So that is everything I want to see between your graph and the list. So let's look at one more problem together. If you see an equation that doesn't have a parentheses, you can always throw a plus 0 in. So the center here is going to be 1, 0, okay, from x and y. So right here, my a and b, look at the bigger one for a, and that's in the y direction because of that. B is 3 in the x direction, so I'm going to go ahead and count those. So we've got that guy and that guy, and we make that box. Okay, the major comes from y, or the a. Major is a, so we're going to go to that 1, 5 and the negative 1, 5, or positive 1, 5. Positive 1, negative 5. The minor comes from the left and right here with b, so it's going to be the negative 2, 0 and the 4, 0. The asymptotes, I'm going to use that, let's see, y minus y1. So y minus k equals the slope, which the slope here of this line is going to be, let me extend that all the way, it's going to be up 5 and over 3, x minus h. So I get 5/3 x minus 5/3 as my first one. The other one here, I get y minus 0 equals negative 5/3 x minus h. Oops, I'm running out of room there. So I get y equals negative 5/3 x plus 5/3 when I distribute this. So not too bad to get the asymptotes. C is going to be that c squared equals a squared plus b squared, so radical 34, which is about 5.8-ish, I think. So it's in the same direction as whatever's first, so x here. So left and right. So I'm going to count left and right 5.8. So from the center, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and some. And then that x here first also tells me I use the left vertex and the right vertex to draw my hyperbolas. And then I do want to create that foci point, so I have 1 plus radical 34, comma 0, and 1 minus radical 34, comma 0. And I label those F, and you're good to go.